Hail Caesar is a fictional story that follows a single day in the life of the real-life Hollywood fixer Eddie Mannix, working in the golden age of the film industry in the 1950s. There was actually such a thing as a fixer back in those days in Hollywood. It was basically a person paid to disguise certain details about a public figure's private life in order to minimize the bad publicity attracted by the debaucherous lifestyle these Hollywood movie stars were so well known for, and to maintain their squeaky clean public image as much as possible. Hail Caesar, the film within the film, is the supposed next big hit Hollywood is planning to release. The film in question is a retelling of the life and death of Jesus Christ, as seen through the eyes of a Roman soldier who comes across him, who one day disappears during filming, leaving Eddie on a wild goose chase to find him. Despite how much I respect the Coen brothers as filmmakers, most of the time I find myself to be on the fence, as they say, when it comes to their filmography. I have to honestly say I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes to the more light-hearted comedies they have done over the decades. But after seeing the trailers for Hail Caesar, I knew it would be something right up my alley, because I also have an affinity, a soft spot if you will, for old-school classic Hollywood. Post-World War II Hollywood is exactly the thing this film is both paying homage to, as well as making fun of it. It truly manages to recreate the atmosphere of what it must have been like back in those days to be on a film set, and succeeds in portraying both the intricacy but also the shallowness of what goes on into making these different types of genre films Hollywood was crapping out back in those days, whether it be the western, the musical, the historical epic, or a combination of genres. It's really interesting to think about the similarities as well as the differences between then and now, and to be honest, I don't think that much has changed actually. The only major difference I can think about is that actors have become less and less about having a squeaky clean image. Some actors have even gone to extremes and have went the completely opposite direction entirely. So even the idea of a fixer, someone who cleans up the mess after all of these crazy actors, was just hilarious to me. And it is actually this character that is the backbone of the whole story. And I have to applaud Josh Brolin for the way he decided to portray his character, because he managed to add some very needed footing to this story. The reason I'm saying this is because even though I enjoyed the film, I have to bring up a major criticism some people have had with it, who have basically said that the film is less of a cohesive and coherent story, and more of an excuse for a series of sketches and gags. And yes, the fact of the matter is that it's not really a satisfying story in a traditional sense. I mean, these characters, they don't learn anything, they don't change by the end of the film. There aren't really any major character arcs is what I'm saying. I mean, by the end of the film, you're almost back to square one. No one really achieves anything big. But that didn't really bother me. In fact, I think it has become something to be expected in a Coen Brothers film. It felt very farcical. I think it was kind of the whole point, actually. It's kind of a metaphor for the Hollywood film industry as a whole. Being this shallow industry, this movie-making machine that puts a lot of emphasis on spectacle, but a lot of times lacks coherence, intelligence, and a lot of times doesn't really know or doesn't really have much to say. A problem I had with the movie, however, was how sparingly the secondary characters were used. I mean, you know all those actors you've seen on the poster and in the trailers? Well, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are basically cameos. They show up for a scene or two, there's a gag involved, and then that's basically it. And that's why I think this film would have fallen apart without the Josh Brolin character, because he is a lot less exaggerated than the others, a lot less cartoony. You really feel invested in him, you really get the sense that this is a human being, and not just a parody or a cartoon character. He is, in a sense, but he also isn't. He is a lot more. He is more layered than the other characters, and I think that's a little bit unfortunate. I would have wanted this film actually to be longer, to be a little bit more detailed, a little bit more complicated, to be a little bit more emphasis put on these other characters as well. As wacky and as zany as everything is, I felt the pacing was quite nicely handled. After every one of these elaborate sketches, we are immediately thrown back into reality and reminded that, okay, this is still a set, this is make-believe, this is not easy to do, people are here doing their jobs, stressed out. And the farcical tone is kept throughout, even to the very end. The way this film ends I thought was so ridiculous, so ludicrous, that it's almost surreal. So there you have it, my 2 cents on the newest Coen Brothers movie. Is it good? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it depends how much of a fan you are. I don't think it's one of their best movies, but it's definitely watchable and enjoyable. Thanks for watching, and always, and I will see you later with other reviews. Bye. Whoa, holy shit. Whoa.